The massive interstellar trading station Nexus 9 hummed with 1,000 different languages and energy signatures. Captain J. Park leaned against the curved, transparent alloy window, watching the endless dance of spacecraft arriving and departing. Massive cargo ships from a dozen different star systems moved like elegant whales through the cosmic sea, their fusion drives leaving trails of electromagnetic shimmer. Jay's leather jacket, a surprisingly old-fashioned piece of clothing among high-tech spacesuits, reflected the holographic displays around him. He wasn't just a captain, he was a cultural liaison for Earth's interstellar diplomatic corps. His job wasn't about fighting or conquering, but understanding. A metallic chirp from his communication implant caught his attention. Something was happening on Deck 47. The station's internal sensors picked up an unusual energy signature. Robotic maintenance drones suddenly froze mid-task, their quantum processors confused by an unexpected electromagnetic pulse. Jay's instincts, honed through years of space exploration, told him something interesting was about to happen. Across the massive circular corridor, a Krell research vessel had just docked. The Krell were known for their analytical minds and complete lack of emotional expression. Their crystalline exoskeletons shifted colors based on computational processes rather than feelings. Every movement was calculated. Every interaction was a mathematical equation. Hana, the lead xenobiological researcher, stepped through the airlock. Her translucent exoskeleton reflected the station's ambient lighting, creating a mesmerizing display of fractals and geometric patterns. Unlike other Krell researchers, she had a reputation for curiosity, a dangerous trait in a species that valued pure logic above everything else. Her sensory tendrils scanned the environment, collecting millions of data points per second. But something was different today. Something unexpected. Jay was humming. Not just humming, he was creating music. A soft Korean folk melody his grandmother had taught him decades ago on Earth. The song spoke of mountain valleys, spring winds, and ancient memories. His fingers tapped a rhythmic pattern against the metal railing, creating a complex percussion that seemed to dance between mathematical precision and pure emotional expression. Hana's computational matrix suddenly became confused. The sound, waves entering her sensory receptors, didn't match any known communication protocol. They weren't a warning. They weren't a command. They weren't transmitting data. They were something else entirely. Her research database had no category for what was happening. Music, according to Krell understanding, was a mathematical arrangement of sound waves. But this was alive. This moved. This told a story without words. Nearby robotic assistants, sleek machines with quantum neural networks, also seemed captivated. Their optical sensors tracked Jay's movements, trying to understand the strange ritual of human musical expression. A holographic display flickered nearby, showing real-time stellar cartography, massive gas giants, distant nebulae, and trading. Routes created a complex web of cosmic connections, but in this moment, all of that complexity seemed secondary to the simple melody emerging from a human's throat. Jay noticed Hana staring. Instead of feeling uncomfortable, he smiled. Another concept completely alien to the Krell, a spontaneous facial expression that communicated warmth, openness, and invitation. "Would you like to hear more?" he asked, his voice carrying the same melodic quality as his humming. Hana's entire crystalline structure vibrated with an emotion she couldn't comprehend. Curiosity, confusion, excitement. Her computational system struggled to categorize the experience. Outside the station's massive windows, a cosmic storm was brewing. Electromagnetic waves danced between distant star systems, creating a visual symphony that mirrored the musical moment happening inside Nexus 9. Something extraordinary was about to begin. End of Part 1. The soft melody continued to pulse through the station's corridors, drawing curious glances from various alien species. Jay realized he had Hana's complete attention, her crystalline body trembling with an unprecedented level of intrigue. From a nearby storage compartment, Jay retrieved an ancient music player, a compact device that seemed almost primitive compared. to the advanced holographic technology surrounding them. It was a gift from his grandfather, a vintage piece that had survived multiple interstellar migrations. This, he said, holding the device carefully, is how humans have shared stories for generations. The first notes of a traditional Korean folk song filled the air. It wasn't just sound, it was a living narrative. The melody spoke of mountain villages, of love lost and found, of generations connecting through a simple musical thread. Hana's sensory receptors began to vibrate in a complex pattern she couldn't comprehend. Around them, the station seemed to pause. Robotic maintenance units stopped their precise movements. Alien traders from distant star systems turned their attention. Even the quantum communication networks appeared to slow, captivated by the unexpected performance. Jay's fingers moved unconsciously, creating a rhythm that seemed to breathe with its own life. Each note carried emotions too complex for standard communication protocols. Joy, sadness, hope, longing, all woven into a soundscape that transcended language. A group of Xylonian traders, crystalline beings known for their computational precision, moved closer. Their multifaceted eyes reflected the music, trying to understand this strange human ritual. Quantum algorithms in their neural networks worked overtime, attempting to decode the emotional transmission. Music isn't just sound, Jay explained, noticing Hana's intense observation. It's how we remember, how we feel, how we connect. He switched to another melody, this time a modern piece with electronic undertones. The rhythm changed, becoming more dynamic. Holographic displays around the station seemed to pulse with the beat, creating a living canvas of light and sound. Nearby, a maintenance robot, typically focused on precise calculations and mechanical tasks, began to move slightly. Its quantum processors were experiencing something unprecedented. The music was creating patterns that defied its standard programming. Hana's entire computational matrix was in chaos. Her species had never experienced anything like this. Music for the Krell was a mathematical equation, a precise arrangement of sound waves. But this was alive. This breathed. This told stories without words. A holographic window showed the vast expanse of space outside. Distant star systems twinkled, seemingly in rhythm with Jay's music. Massive cargo ships moved through the cosmic landscape, their fusion drives creating light patterns that danced with the melody. Every culture has its music, Jay continued, switching to another melody. It's how we preserve our history, our emotions, our connections. The station's ambient temperature seemed to change, not physically, but in a way that defied standard measurements. The music was creating an atmosphere, a shared experience that connected different species in ways no diplomatic protocol ever could. Quantum communication networks began to pick up the musical waves. On distant star systems, receivers began to translate the emotional data, creating an unprecedented moment of interstellar connection. Hana took a careful step forward. Her crystalline body was vibrating with an emotion she couldn't name. Curiosity, excitement, something entirely new. "May I?" she started, her voice a precise computational sound. "May I understand more?" Jay smiled, that uniquely human expression of warmth and invitation. The music continued, a bridge between two completely different ways of experiencing the universe. Around them, the universe seemed to listen. End of Part 2. The station's peace shattered in an instant. Massive energy signatures erupted from the darkness of space. The Vortex Collective, a ruthless species known for consuming entire planetary systems, had arrived. Massive battle cruisers emerged from quantum fold spaces, their biomechanical hulls pulsing with destructive energy. Plasma cannons charged, targeting critical station infrastructure. Defense systems initiated emergency protocols, but something was different this time. Jay's music player, that simple, seemingly obsolete device, remained clutched in his hand. Quantum communication networks went haywire. Standard defense algorithms couldn't process the incoming attack patterns. Robotic defense systems froze, their computational matrices overwhelmed by the complex invasion strategy. But Jay understood something. fundamental about conflict that no machine could comprehend. He pressed play. A thunderous military march, a combination of traditional Korean drum rhythms and modern electronic percussion, exploded through the station's communication systems. The sound wasn't just audio, it was a psychological weapon of unprecedented complexity. The Vortex attack ships suddenly experienced massive system disruptions. Their neural network interfaces began experiencing emotional feedback loops impossible to calculate. Precision targeting systems collapsed. Weapon synchronization failed. Hana watched in absolute fascination. The music created vibrational patterns that interfered with the alien technology in ways no conventional weapon could. Each beat carried mathematical precision combined with raw, emotional energy. The Vortex vessels, designed for cold computational warfare, couldn't process the unexpected emotional resonance. Maintenance robots around Jay began moving in synchronized patterns, their quantum processors adapting to the musical frequency. They transformed from passive machines into active defense mechanisms, moving with an unprecedented level of coordination. "Humans don't just fight," Jay shouted over the music and station alarms. "We communicate through every possible channel." Holographic displays transformed the station's interior into a living battlefield visualization. Musical waves became visible energy patterns, disrupting incoming attack sequences. The Vortex ship's attack formations collapsed, their precise computational strategies overwhelmed by emotional complexity. Nearby Xylonian traders, initially preparing evacuation protocols, found themselves unexpectedly participating in the defense. Their computational systems began synchronizing with the musical frequencies, creating a multi-species defensive network. Quantum communication relays across 3 star systems picked up the unexpected defense mechanism. Research stations began recording the phenomenon, a musical frequency capable of disrupting advanced technological systems. The station's artificial intelligence, typically a cold computational entity, began generating additional musical defense algorithms. It was learning, adapting, transforming raw emotional energy into a tactical advantage. Jay's music player continued playing, each beat a weapon more powerful than any plasma cannon or quantum disruptor. Hana's crystalline body vibrated with unprecedented excitement. Her research database was collecting millions of data points per second. This wasn't just a defense, it was a complete reimagining of conflict resolution. Vortex invasion ships began retreating. Their computational cores couldn't process the emotional complexity of the human musical defense. What appeared to be a simple audio transmission was actually a sophisticated multi-dimensional communication method. Station defense systems, typically reliant on precise mathematical calculations, had been completely transformed. The human approach, emotional, unpredictable, complex, had become their ultimate survival strategy. As the last Vortex ships disappeared into quantum fold spaces, an eerie silence descended. Jay's music player continued playing a soft, almost peaceful melody. Hana approached Jay, her crystalline structure, reflecting the holographic battlefield remnants. "Explain," she demanded, her computational voice carrying a hint of something new, wonder. Jay simply smiled and pressed replay. End of Part 3. The research laboratory on Nexus 9 hummed with unprecedented energy. Holographic displays covered every available surface, each one analyzing the musical phenomenon that had single-handedly repelled the Vortex invasion. Hana's research team, a diverse collection of alien scientists from across the galaxy, worked tirelessly. Quantum scanners, neural network analyzers, and advanced computational systems attempted to decode the mysterious human musical defense mechanism. "It's not just sound," Hana announced, her crystalline body flickering with excited computational patterns. "It's a complete communication ecosystem." Jay watched as robotic assistants processed terabytes of data every second. Each musical frequency carried layers of information previously undetected by standard communication protocols. Emotional resonance, it seemed, was a form of intelligence no machine had previously understood. Deep space communication relays began receiving unexpected signals. Research stations across 3-star systems reported similar findings. Human musical transmissions contained complex neural network patterns that defied traditional scientific understanding. A holographic representation of a human brain appeared, showing how musical experiences triggered multiple neural pathways simultaneously. Emotional centers, memory storage, cognitive processing, all activated in a complex dance that no artificial system could replicate. Nearby, a quantum computer struggled to process the data. Its precision-based algorithms couldn't comprehend the intentional imperfections of human musical expression. Each note carried intentional variations, emotional nuances that made pure mathematical calculation impossible. Healing, Jay explained, pointing to a series of medical scans. Music isn't just communication, it's a biological healing mechanism. The scans showed something extraordinary. Musical experiences could regulate heart rates, reduce stress hormones, and even stimulate healing processes at a cellular level. What appeared to be simple sound waves were actually sophisticated biological technology. Robotic research assistants began attempting to replicate human musical patterns. But something always seemed missing. The quantum algorithms could produce perfect mathematical sound, but they couldn't capture the soul of the music. Station administrators from various star systems began requesting more information. The implications were profound. A species that could turn emotion into a defensive and healing mechanism was unlike anything previously discovered. Hannah's research revealed another shocking discovery. Human musical traditions carried generational memories. Each melody was a living archive of cultural experience, passing down complex information through sound and emotion. "Impossible," muttered a Xylonian research assistant, its multiple eyes, analyzing the data. Information transfer cannot be this unpredictable. But the evidence was overwhelming. Human music was a sophisticated communication method that transcended traditional understanding of information transfer, quantum communication. Networks began developing new protocols based on the human musical research. Artificial intelligence systems across the galaxy started incorporating emotional complexity into their core programming. Jay's simple music player became the most studied technological artifact in recent galactic history. Research teams disassembled and reassembled it thousands of times, trying to understand its profound simplicity. The station's artificial intelligence began generating its own musical algorithms. But something always felt artificial, mechanical. The human element, that unexpected emotional complexity, remained impossible to replicate. "We don't just hear music," Jay explained to the assembled researchers. "We feel it, we live it. It's part of our survival mechanism." Holographic displays showed how different human cultures used music, from ancient tribal rituals to modern therapeutic practices. Each example demonstrated a sophisticated understanding of emotional communication that no other species had developed. Robotic research units moved differently now. Their quantum processors had been fundamentally changed by the research. They were learning to appreciate complexity, to understand that precision wasn't always the ultimate goal. As the research continued, one thing became clear. Humans had discovered a form of intelligence that went beyond computational thinking. An intelligence of emotion, of connection, of unexpected complexity. The galaxy would never be the same. End of Part 4. Months after the groundbreaking research, the Nexus 9 station transformed into a cultural exchange hub. Starships from hundreds of different star systems gathered, drawn by the mysterious human musical phenomenon that had reshaped galactic understanding. Jay stood in the central communication chamber, surrounded by representatives from dozens of alien civilizations. Each species wore translation devices, but today music would be their true language. Hannah approached, her crystalline body now modified with specialized receptors designed to process musical frequencies. The once rigid Creel researcher had become something entirely new, a bridge between computational precision and emotional intelligence. "Teach me," she requested, her voice carrying a hint of something unprecedented. Anticipation. The chamber's advanced holographic systems activated. Massive displays showed cultural music archives from Earth, everything from traditional folk songs to modern electronic compositions. Each melody carried generations of human experience, waiting to be understood. Robotic assistants moved differently now. Their quantum processors had been reprogrammed to appreciate complexity, to understand that pure mathematical calculation wasn't the only form of intelligence. Jay began with a simple technique, teaching Hannah to create rhythm. His hands moved, creating patterns that were both mathematical and emotional. Percussion wasn't just about sound. It was about feeling, about connection. Nearby, Xylonian diplomatic representatives watched with intense curiosity. Their species had always believed in pure logical communication. Now they were witnessing something entirely different, a communication method that embraced imperfection. The station's artificial intelligence began generating complex musical algorithms. But something remained unique about human musical expression, an unexplainable quality that no machine could fully replicate. Holographic displays showed how different human cultures used music, from ancient healing rituals to modern emotional expression. Each example demonstrated a sophisticated understanding of communication that transcended verbal language. Music is memory, Jay explained, showing how a simple melody could carry entire cultural histories. It's how we remember, how we heal, how we connect. Quantum communication networks across the galaxy began incorporating emotional complexity into their core programming. Research stations reported unprecedented breakthroughs in understanding interspecies communication. Hannah's first attempt at creating music was mechanical, precise but lacking soul. But with each attempt, something changed. Her crystalline structure began to vibrate with something approaching emotion. Station administrators from multiple star systems watched the demonstration. What had begun as a scientific curiosity was becoming a fundamental shift in galactic understanding. The maintenance robots that once moved with perfect precision now seemed to dance slightly to the rhythm. Their quantum processors had learned to appreciate complexity, to understand that perfection wasn't always the ultimate goal. Jay pulled out his grandfather's old music player, the same device that had defended the station months earlier. It was more than a technological artifact now. It was a symbol of human potential. "We're not just fighting," he explained to the assembled representatives. "We're communicating. We're connecting." Holographic displays showed how musical frequencies could heal, could defend, could communicate in ways no traditional language ever could. Each note carried layers of information, emotional, historical, personal. The Vortex Collective, once a terrifying invasion force, now sent diplomatic representatives to understand this mysterious human communication method. Their computational cores had been fundamentally changed by the research. As the first true notes emerged from Hannah's crystalline structure, something magical happened. The entire station seemed to vibrate with a new kind of energy, not computational, not purely emotional, but something entirely new. A bridge had been created, not through weapons, not through pure logic, but through music. The galaxy would never be the same. End of Part 5.